Hello everybody, good morning, it's Christmas! How are we all doing this Christmas Eve morning? I hope you're doing well. We're live with the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Also going to be reading out a few of your messages that you've asked for Christmas messages. So if you did ask for some, they will be done. Thy kingdom come and all that. Now they will be done a little bit later in the show, so if you know who you are, if you ask for them, you will get them. And but look, let's fly straight into the show. It's Christmas Eve. We've got lots of stuff for you over the next 2 days, so watch out. Really excited about some of the stuff we've got coming up for you tomorrow and a little bit later on as well. And obviously building towards a big game, hopefully on Monday between Manchester United and Newcastle. But let's start off with the Pogba power play. Pogba versus Rangnick. We'll also be talking about Cavani going to Brazil. Interesting comments from Ralph Rangnick on Hannibal Mabry and the youth at United, which is really encouraging. And Rangnick getting himself into a little bit of trouble about the Carabao Cup, which we'll talk about as well in a moment. But Merry Christmas, everyone. Lots of people in the chat saying Merry Christmas. Oh, can I just say as well, look, you know, we've got a fantastic community. I always say this. Make sure you smash a like on the video and spread the love. But sadly, I do have some seriously sad news this morning. My grandmother passed away in the early hours of the morning this morning. So Christmas isn't always a good time for everybody, and I'm very aware of that. People will be ill and getting bad news. And I think I'd mentioned before earlier in the year that my granddad passed away, and this often happens. It's very sad. I mean, I spoke to her a couple of times and she was in her 90s, and it was almost like she wanted to, you know, go to be with him. So in some ways it's never good news for the people who are left behind, but it did make me think this morning that obviously it's not always a good time for everybody as well. So, you know, you're not on your own. Don't worry about it. And I get it. Some people don't feel the Christmas buzz for various different reasons from the past or the present. But, you know, love and support and community to all of you. So anyway, but also it's a good time for a lot of people, and that shouldn't make you feel that you shouldn't be celebrating it. If you can, bring a bit of joy, because you never know when the bad times are going to come. So enjoy it. But let's talk about football. That's what we're here to talk about. And I just want to bring you, this is from the United Stand Twitter account, at United Stand MUFC. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United are not, just a little bit of spit there, a little bit of Christmas spit. Manchester United are not negotiating with any club to sell Paul Pogba in January. No decision by Pogba yet, and United are still waiting. Contract extension bid still on the table since last July. Now, people might be saying, why is Fabrizio Romano stating the obvious this morning? Because that is the situation, and I think it's a really interesting clarification of where we are with Pogba. Pogba has the power. It's power play time. Now, some people are very relaxed about this and go, wow, I don't really think that's much of a story, really. Let's just get on with it. Let's use Pogba till the end of the season, and then he can go or he can stay. But you've got to look at the politics of this, and I think that there is a bit of a Pogba versus Rangnick scenario here. We saw it with Ollie and Pogba a year ago when Raiola came out and said he won't be signing a new contract, United a load of shit, he's going to go. And everyone was like, kick him out of the club, get rid of him out of the club. And what did Ollie do? He sat down like Ollie clearly sat down with everybody and said, how can I please you? Because Lingard should have gone in the summer, you can have game time. Donny offered game time, Matic offered game time, Mata offered game time, Dean Henderson offered game time, and yet it didn't happen. So you can imagine the sort of conversation that happened with Pogba a year ago, and it worked. You know, Pogba did do reasonably well from Christmas till the end of the season. Rangnick may have to do that again, because I don't know what he will do, but he's got this problem with a few other players, but at the top of the Christmas tree, to use a seasonal analogy, is Paul Pogba. He's on top of the Manchester United Christmas tree at the moment, and he has the power. And Rangnick has to have that conversation with him. And also, Manchester United are a very political animal. They will be saying to Ralph, there is a contract on the table for £400,000 a week for Pogba. We want him to sign it. Can you get him to sign it? Can you get him to sign it like Ollie didn't? Because that is what Manchester United want. And you must remember that whilst Ralph Rangnick is in charge, he doesn't necessarily have the ability to go into that club and say, get rid of Pogba, I'm not going to use him. I know for a fact there are politics at Manchester United. We spoke about it last night with Harry Maguire. Why does Harry Maguire get treated differently to Lindelof and Bailly in the sense that he always gets picked, even though his form isn't necessarily as good? Now, I like Maguire, but I don't think he's head and shoulders above Bailly and Lindelof, but he will always play. Politics will always be at play at Manchester United. You know, you could say it from the likes of Ronaldo. There's probably 5 or 6. I think Rashford's another one. Maybe Bruno's another one. They will always, you know, be big players at Manchester United politically. And I mean football politics in the sense that they're almost always going to play and have power, and Pogba's certainly got that. Morning, Mark. Had a few friends pass last week. Try keep your head up, mate. Try keep going, to Andy and Brie. I'm fine, mate. You know, at the end of the day, I just wanted to bring it up because I'm always honest, and also I think some people do find this time of the year difficult, and it wasn't a shock this morning. I mean, I'd been messaging, over the last few days with my dad about it, and it's those people left behind I feel sorry for. I mean, she was in her 90s, and I think it's what she wanted. So it's just sad. It is sad, but it's not one of the. There'll be people in a lot worse situation. Sorry if you lost. Get someone to cover your shift on here and go spend time with family. King, you've more than earned time off, says Jack Purtles. Don't worry, we've got all that covered. Christmas is a time for enjoying yourself, family and friends, and we have got plenty of content for you over the next couple of days. But the vast majority of it isn't live anyway, so don't worry about that. What I was talking about in relation to Paul Pogba though is that how does Rangnick solve this issue? Does he just do what I think he will do, which is he will use Pogba and try and get him to sign a new contract, and then once it gets to the summer, Rangnick might not be here anyway, and Pogba might not be here, so you just get the best out of a player for 4 or 5 months? Or the flip side is, does he be like, well look, I'm here to make a difference, you're not here to be part of my plans, to be honest with you, get down the pecking order, I will give you game time, but I'm not starting you every single game. And then you've got Paul Pogba's situation, which is, I'm not signing a contract, I'm not going anywhere else in January, and I want to play football. And in that sense, I think it's quite interesting as to how it will play out, because Pogba does clearly have the power that Manchester United don't. And I do feel for Rangnick in a way, because, well, I do feel for Rangnick. He may not really care about the situation. He might be quite happy and comfortable with what he's going to do with the situation. Pogba is back training. They've probably had a conversation. But it's an inherited problem, and I always feel for managers when they come in and they inherit problems. And now coming into a team like Manchester United and saying, look, I don't want this player, I want a couple of new players, that's normal. Coming into a club that's a very political animal, where it's like, we're trying to sign this player, and you're sort of like, why? Because he's very marketable, he's very, and the offer's on the table, and we want him to sign it, and we've got this player that's running his contract down, this player's running his contract down, this player's running his contract down, and you can't buy anyone until that's sorted. So there are issues there, and I think the timing of that tweet from Romano this morning is quite interesting, because I think it's very well known that Fabrizio, Di Marzio, very close to Mino Raiola, and that's probably just a clarification of the situation going into January, is that please don't expect Paul Pogba to be leaving or signing a contract. Paul Pogba is running his contract down, and that's what's going to happen, and it's how Rangnick approaches that situation. What would I do? Because I'm not going to sit on the fence. There's not a lot you can do. I think we talk about the situation a lot, but what would you do in that situation? If I was Paul Pogba, I'm running the contract down, because what's the point in not running it down now? You made that decision in the summer not to go because you were going to run the contract down. What's going to change now in January? Or Man United have got a new manager. God knows whether that's going to work. I've seen new managers come in and have a bounce for 12 months. Why would I sign a contract off 12 days? So I would run the contract down if I was Pogba. If it was Ralph Rangnick, what would I do? I wouldn't utilise Pogba ahead of Sancho and Bruno and Donny. And I wouldn't use him ahead of Fred and McTominay. And people say you're bloody idiots, but what I'm saying is that at least those 5 players are part of the future. If you start benching Donny again to put Pogba in the team, or Bruno or Sancho or Fred, well, those players want to be part of this future. Pogba doesn't. So I think Pogba needs to be used, but I wouldn't have him as a starting player until he signs a contract. And then the third thing, if I was Manchester United, what I would do, I would remove the contract off the table. To me, he's not worth 400 grand a week at 29 years of age. So, they're the 3 things I would do. 1, if I'm Man United, I'm removing the contract off the table. Let him come to us and say he wants to sign it and renegotiate. If I'm Rangnick, I will use him, but I won't use him as a starting superstar player all the time. And if I'm the player, I'd run the contract down. So you can see what's going to happen. It's going to roll till the summer. Should United even keep Pogba at this point? Pogba not our best player, to be honest, says Oliver. I really like Paul Pogba. I really do. And but I'll always put Manchester United first. I really like Anthony Martial, but I think it's right for him to go, and I think he's actually done the right thing. But no, I like Pogba, but I look at 6 years and I'd say at best half of it's been decent and half of it's been below average. That doesn't justify a 400 grand a week best paid player at the club behind Ronaldo contract. It just doesn't. He doesn't warrant that contract. And I'm fed up of Manchester United being like that, to be honest. We've made these mistakes. You know, we've got an £80 million centre back, a £50 million right back. You know, that's not their fault, but they ain't 80 million and 50 million pound players. And you know, we're now going to get, we gave Alexis Sanchez 450 grand a week. Like, we need to start learning from these bad mistakes of the past. And I'm sorry, Paul Pogba doesn't justify 400 grand a week, in my opinion. He's a very good player, but I almost think for his own good, he needs to go elsewhere. Maybe he doesn't really suit the Premier League. You know, we've seen glimpses, but maybe he's better in Serie A. He's better in La Liga. Because he's certainly better in international football, which is a bit slower. So for me, it's not necessarily about, I wouldn't 100% say we're going to part ways. If he wants to adjust his contract, that's fine. But he's never going to say, okay, I'll sign it for 300 grand a week, is he? Because in the summer, he's free and Real Madrid or PSG will give him 500 grand a week. So you can see what's going to happen. You know, it's like what United are doing with the 400 grand. So Romano has said this for a long time. There's a contract on the table for Pogba to sign since last July, and we're now 7 months later and he's not signed it. That contract is 400 grand a week. He knows in the summer he's going to get £500,000 a week at least, plus a massive signing on fee. So financially he's going to be way better off. This offer from Manchester United is very much like you tonight, Christmas Eve, yeah? You know at home you've got a pot noodle, but you know if you go out to the pub, you're going to get offered lots of nice dishes from lots of prospectors. You know, you're a man about the town or a girl about the town, and you're going to get a lot of better offers than a pot noodle at home. And that's basically what United have got. We're a pot noodle at home, and Pogba's out and about, and he's going to get much better offers. Now, if he's firing blanks and he doesn't get any good offers, he might come back for the pot noodle. But you know, I don't see it. Pogba is also our most marketable player behind Ronaldo and biggest Adidas player we have. This matters to the board. Well, Carimo, that's what I mean, football politics. A lot of people don't understand why United would even put the contract on the table. It's because he's marketable. And Manchester United love marketability. I was on about this yesterday. I don't even knock United for it if we're successful on the pitch. I couldn't give a toss about players that are marketable, you know, social media interactions, how big we are on TikTok. None of that matters to me if we're successful on the pitch. The problem of the last 8 years is that we've been focused on that and not on the pitch. It's like what we were saying yesterday. You know, these photos they put out after training where it's winning team and they're all having banter with each other. Like Matic was like, "Where's Cristiano?" And I'm like, I get it. Loads of people love that. They love that. You know, it makes them feel more human. Well, why does it make them feel more human that they all stand in front of a Manchester United photographer so he can put pictures on social media so that, you know, their social media can grow? It's not about being human. It's about being big on social media. And United are brilliant at it. And a lot of people love it. And I get that. It's absolutely fine. But as long as we're good on the pitch, you know, I just want us to be good on the pitch. And that is where, when you go back to Paul Pogba or all these things that irritate some people, is that we're so focused at being massive. I mean, we even go to shareholders meetings and say, we had the most social media interactions in September 21 than any other clubs ever had. Yeah. We also got stuffed by Leicester, which was actually October. But you get my point. You get my point. Anyway, so Pogba will have to wait and see. Hader says, let them be, pal. But that's not what opinion's all about, is it, Hader? You've expressed your opinion. I'll express my opinion. I'm going to call it out. I don't like this positive social media bullshit from the training ground when we're not successful on the pitch. I couldn't give a toss. You may as well be playing FIFA. Oh, I've beat you at FIFA, Cristiano. Couldn't give two shits. Swivel on it. I want you to be on the pitch succeeding. You know, it really is like doing a dress rehearsal well and then fluffing your lines in the pantomime. Like, I want United to be good on the pitch. And I think that's where we're heading, hopefully, under Rangnick anyway. The winning team things grinds my gears. They should take that pride competitive into real games. It really annoys me, says Carrymore. No, but I respect people who really enjoy it. And we're definitely in the minority, Carrymore. But what I'm saying is, it's not even about that. Welcome to the Members Club, Samuel. It's really not about that. Because life is about some people enjoying some things and some people enjoying others. That's not my point. It's really about Pogba and why we're offering him a massive contract, because he's marketable. We're not really looking at how good he is as a player. And as we were talking about last night, Harry Maguire, why does he always start at centre-back? Is it because he's the club captain and he cost £80 million? What's the difference between Harry Maguire, Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof this season? And yet we know Harry Maguire will always get picked. But what is, honest answer, what is the difference between Eric Bailly, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire? On form, I guarantee you'd almost get a split on each one. It's a close battle, and yet we all know Harry Maguire will start. Is he a good captain? Many think not. Is he in good form? Well, not really. Is it because he's £80 million? Mate, I don't know. But United do run themselves a bit like, politics behind the scenes sometimes. And social media interactions are massive in that. And all I'm saying is I just want us to be really good on the pitch again. And I'll be honest, Paul Pogba leaving United a year ago with 60 million coming in would have been a good deal. Paul Pogba leaving us in the summer for nothing, I still think we'll be better off without him long term, but to let him go for nothing is a shambles by the club. And I think that's another reason why they're desperate to get him to sign a contract. And that's never good, is it? That's never a good situation. You're begging somebody to stay because you can't stand what an idiot you're going to look like if they go. It's like having a nice house, isn't it? And living in a nice country village, and everyone thinks you're a great couple, and then on Christmas Eve, she's off to go and live with, Barry, the surfer from Australia, in his caravan down the road, and you're like, please don't go. You're going to make me look a right idiot. I'm begging you to stay. You can have anything you want for Christmas, and they stay. Well, you're begging them to stay because you don't want to look stupid, and they want to go. And that you're buying them to stay. That can never work. And that's what worries me about United in not just the Pogba situation, but maybe the Lingard situation, maybe other situations as well. We're desperate to keep him to save face. Anyway, we move on. Let's have a look at what people are saying. Sancho's not on 350k a week. No, he's not. No, he's not, Dan. He's not. Bit specific, Mark says, has he? But my brain works in mysterious ways. Ralph is a prat saying the EFL should go, says 58 go. Well, that's not what I was going to talk about next, but Ralph Rangnick has been a bit of reaction to Rangnick saying yesterday that the Carabao Cup should go. I've got to be honest with you. Again, I don't want to be divisive on Christmas Eve. I want it to be a happy time. Oh, come, let us adore. That's I'm linking arms there. I'm not doing anything sinister. I've got to say, I do agree with Ralph Rangnick on this. So the Carabao Cup for me can go swivel, jump in the sea. I mean, I think the Premier. Look, there's been a lot of conversation lately about player welfare. They're playing too much football. Like, if you think about American football, I mean, some of you might be going, I don't want to, it's crap. But if you think about American football, they only play one game a week, really. Very intense game. Rugby's the same. Is football now becoming the same as that? Can footballers really play 3 games a week at the intense level that we're asking them to? And yet there seems to be more and more games in the calendar. I think we're hitting a tipping point. Unless every team is going to have a squad of 30 players. And would you like that? Would you like United to have one team playing at the weekend and one team playing in midweek? You're almost becoming a Super League then anyway. What you want the same 15, 16 players being used every game with a little bit of rotation. And I don't think it's possible for them to do that Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday with how intense the game is fitness-wise now. So removing something from the calendar is going to help that. And the Carabao Cup, I don't think it would get removed, but I think the Carabao Cup should almost become a bit of a youth reserves tournament, which it is for some anyway. And I was thinking about this. I thought Rangnick's getting quite a lot of stick here about saying the Carabao Cup should probably go and we should have one domestic trophy. I do agree. The Carabao Cup and the FA Cup are not the tournaments they were anyway. But I was thinking back to when I was a kid. The FA Cup was magical. The league has always been exciting. I remember United winning the. I'm trying to think what it was called. I think it might have been like the Rumbelows Cup or something like that. We won it in 90. I think we won it in 92. Brian McClare and In fact, I've got the bloody. This is dodgy. That's not my ticket. That's not it. I actually went to the game. And I've got the program here. My dad gave it me, so well, it's my program, but he's got a box of stuff, and I've got the tickets. There you go, tickets from the game there. Remember it well, Brian McClare. And my point is, even at the time as a kid, I was like, it was nice to win, but it's always been an inferior trophy, and I'd bin it off. I'm not really one for change, but I would bin it off, and I do agree with Rangnick. I think there's too many games. We're demanding too much of the players. They're not going to be able to keep this up forever, and I think you either turn it into a reserve tournament or you get out of it. I'm tired of the never-ending Pogba saga. He should be let go, and Ralph should put his foot down, says Varane. But I do want to bring you something very interesting about what Rangnick said in relation to the youth, because he also has come out with these comments on the youth, and he said it's not only about youth, it's about being talented and having the right personality and mentality, and if those things come together, then of course I want to play as many of those young players as possible. And he says, I think since the Busby Babes, this has always been part of the DNA of the club, and the same was true under Sir Alex Ferguson in those 27 years. And we've got 3 or 4 players in the squad already, and for me it's important to develop those players. And I think, what he's saying there is, and he also spoke about Hannibal Mabry, which I want to talk about in a moment, but Rangnick basically, and we've seen it with Alanga, a little glimpse in the very short time he's been here, it's not about how young they are, it's about how ready they are. And I think it's so important that we've mentioned this before, and I'll name some players, but it's not really fair. Juan Mata, Jesse Lingard, I mean, even to a certain extent, Paul Pogba, even though it doesn't really fit for Pogba because he is a bit of a first-team player. But these players who don't want to be part of the future, or aren't good enough to be part of the future, but are staying, are blocking. They are. You can't have 25 senior players and then still promote youth. Solskjaer would not have played any youth this season at all. And if Rangnick can get 1 or 2 involved between now and May, he's done a great job, because we've got so many senior players, it's really hard to get them involved. Mark Ralph is right, the Mickey Mouse Cup has no value, FA Cup heading the right direction too. After a 3-year jolly, Ollie means Ralph got lots to fix, and that's from Andy and Bruno. But going on in relation to what he said about Hannibal Mabry, he said, I watched the final before his substitution, and I'm fully aware that we have another good, highly talented player coming from our youth, and hopefully after the AFCON, he can regularly train and be part of our group. He was here training for the first time since I arrived, having just come back from the Arab Club. Unfortunately for us and for him, he will be missing out with us again in January because of the Africa Cup of Nations, which is a shame, and I had forgotten about that. I really do think that Mabry coming back training the other day would have been in real consideration in January, but now he's off to play in the AFCON. So it is a bit of a shame, but I think what Rangnick is hinting at is spot on. Don't think about the age of these players, think about the talent of these players. And obviously, if you start playing Juan Mata and he does okay, he's only ever going to do okay because he's in his 30s. There's nothing to grow out. If you start playing Mabry as a teenager and he's doing as well as Mata, but he's got gears to go through, then it's logical that you focus on the Mabrys and you remove the Matas. And I think that is what needs to happen at Manchester United, and hopefully will happen. But a little bit of a shame about Mabry, because I'd forgotten that he would be involved in the AFCON. On a positive note, he will be playing, because he's been playing for them. But on a negative, obviously he won't be involved for United over the next month. And the AFCON is interesting. I mean, look, to me, that's a very big tournament for people of that continent, Africa, funnily enough. And they enjoy that tournament. Do we enjoy it as people outside of Africa? Well, I never really have a massive problem with it, because it never really massively impacts on Manchester United's first team. I think teams like Liverpool have a problem with it because they lose Mane and Salah. But we will lose Hannibal, Ahmad, who will probably go on loan anyway in January, and Eric Bailly. I mean, Eric Bailly is, again, the timing of things for Eric Bailly in his Manchester United career, he's been massively unfortunate. He seems to come in and play brilliantly against teams like Chelsea and then be dropped. And now with a new manager in, with maybe a chance of getting into the first team, he's going to be out missing for a month. So leaves us a little bit short at centre back, but hopefully with Varane coming back, that will be a big help. But look, as always, very encouraging to have a manager like Ralph Rangnick speaking openly and honestly about developing the youth. And we all know this. I don't need to tell you this. We all know this. The youth setup at United is in a much better situation than it was 10 years ago. To be honest, at the end of the Sir Alex Ferguson reign, that youth setup wasn't great. I remember people saying, "Oh, Sir Alex left the club in a mess," and I just think total bollocks. Like, he left as Premier League champions. David Moyes tore it all down and messed it up. But one area I would argue is that the youth setup was not that good when Sir Alex left. It sort of, I wouldn't say it had gone into decay, but it wasn't as strong as it could be. 10 years later, we might not have won a title, but the youth setup is a lot stronger. There's been a lot of good work there. And I would applaud United for that, because they have invested in it. We brought a lot of players in. And to be fair, Van Gaal started it. He started it, and it's continued from there. So the youth setup at United's really good. And, there's real opportunities for Rangnick. And, we can all name names, but there's a lot of players. Like, I won't name below the team that's got McNeil and Savage in it, but below that there are some really good players coming through as well, because you don't want to put pressure on them. And then above that, as we know, the Alangas, the Hannibal Mabrys, and there's a lot coming through. That's not to mention people on loan like Laird and Garner. So there are, you would hope, 2 or 3 players that are going to come through. How about if any team that qualified for Europe can't enter the next season's League Cup, the rest get the chance to compete for its Europe spot? Not a bad idea, Glenn. Not a bad idea at all. But we'll see what happens with that. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is Cavani, Edison Cavani. Now, I don't know what's going on with Cavani. I'm going to do the preview for the Newcastle game this afternoon. I think 4 o'clock. I don't want to do an 8 o'clock show tonight because it's Christmas Eve and you should be watching films, drinking, eating, playing games, and I certainly will be doing that tonight. So I'm going to do the show for the preview at 4 o'clock today. Put it in your diary. But I'm half not sure what to do about Edison Cavani, because I think for the Brentford game, and I'll drop this in your hat, the Brentford game, it was pretty much nailed on that he was going to make 3 changes to the team that beat Norwich. Donny was going to start, I think Luke Shaw was going to start, and Cavani was being tipped to play up front. Now, that was because 2 things, really. We'd played poorly against Norwich, but also we were going to have to play 3 games in a week, and that was 3 days after Norwich. Now, again, there are some players in that team that just seem to get lucky, and there's some players that don't. Like Bay's an unlucky player, and certain other players are very lucky. I think that this COVID lockdown for 2 weeks means that I don't think he will make the changes that he was going to make for Brentford, for Newcastle. I don't think Donny will play in the midfield. I think he'll be back on the bench. Now, will Cavani start? Cavani is fit enough to start, but will he start with all the talk about him wanting to leave? And I think maybe not. But we're now hearing that Cavani wants to go to... He's been linked to Corinthians in Brazil. We've had the Barcelona talk. I've tried to find out what's going on here. And it's very, very difficult. But what I have been told is that it's very clear that Cavani is restless and would like a move. Now, I don't really understand this, because we heard he was homesick to go to Uruguay and then he's decided to stay in Manchester for another year. And then clearly he's thinking about going to Spain for 18 months, or now Brazil. Now, Brazil's closer to Uruguay, but I don't know what's going on with the Cavani situation. And it does irritate me a little bit, because I think in the case of Anthony Martial, he's not really been near the team for a year. And some of us would like him to have got near the team, but I think he's decided he wants to go. And I actually understand why he wants to go, because he wants to play first team football. But with Cavani, it's frustrating, because we know we've only got Cavani until the summer anyway. And we're all happy with that. We're all content. We all know that. And it's like, let's use him as much as we can between now and the summer. And I read some quotes of Dimitar Berbatov talking about this. And again, this is the thing, isn't it? Ex-players should be respected for what they've done on the pitch. But sometimes they don't half talk nonsense. And he's basically saying, I feel sorry for Cavani. Ronaldo's come in. He's the main man now. And, he's had to miss out a bit. He's been bloody injured, you prat. Like, Cavani's basically been injured most of the season. It's not that he's had to sit on the bench for Ronaldo. I bet he's only had to sit on the bench for Ronaldo 4 or 5 times. He's hardly been fit. And now he is fit. We're playing with a front 2. I would like to see us playing with the front 2, with Edison Cavani and Cristiano Ronaldo up front. And that's what I wanted to see. The problem with the problem with Cavani is that he's looking to get a move at a time where he probably plays a lot of football. And I tell you what, if we weren't in a situation with Cavani looking to leave, and we were just going to do the preview for Newcastle later, I would have Cavani up front because he's fit. Cavani and Ronaldo, for me, are the best front two we've got. Until we develop Greenwood a little bit more, Rashford and Ronaldo just don't seem to work, and I don't think they ever will work because they're similar but not similar. You need a grafter next to Ronaldo or Rashford, and somebody who's going to hold the ball up, do the link-up play, lead the press, and Cavani does that fantastically well. So I'm a little bit frustrated with Cavani because I agree with Gautiano Godnaldo that I like the name as well. I want Cavani to stay till May and stay fit till May and be used till May. And the great thing about Cavani is that if you were going to play a front two, I think with Ronaldo, Greenwood and Cavani, you've got the perfect three options. Because Cavani can't play 3 games a week. In fact, sometimes he can't play 90 minutes. So you rotate him with Greenwood and Ronaldo. So I really hope Cavani does stay. But it's like what Pep Guardiola's just said about Torres. He's going to Barcelona. And I find that ridiculously surprising because Ferran Torres, a lot of Man City players really rate him. And I was like, well, why would you leave Man City, one of the best teams in the world, to go to Barcelona who aren't? And Pep's come out and said, look, he spoke to me and said he wants to leave. He's Spanish. And I've said, let him go. And that mentality is probably one that Rangnick will have. In fact, he's hinted at it already. So maybe Cavani will be let go. But it is a shame. It is a shame. And obviously something's not quite right there. But Lee Dixon says he don't play. Mate, I tell you what, I'd love to know the stats on how many games he's been available for and how many games he's sat on the bench. Because I think Berbatov's wrong. And I think you're wrong. I don't think he's been fit that much. And when he has been fit, we have used him. He's just not been fit. He's been injured a lot of this season again, which may be the reason to get rid of him. And I have heard and I have been told that United would happily let Cavani go to offload his wages because he's injured all the time. But I think it leaves us a little bit short, to be honest with you. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Right, make sure you smash the like on the video. I've just got a few messages I just want to read out as well. So this is from Thea Hickman. And she wants, let's have a look. My dad is the biggest fan of yours and watches every one of your videos, listens to your commentary, blah, blah, blah. What's your dad's name? That's what we need to know. He's obviously the best dad ever and has had a super stressful year. This is a great message because you haven't... What's his name? Okay. His name is Wesley. Okay. So Wesley, big shout out for you on Christmas Eve. Best dad ever and had a super stressful year with some upsetting family news. So I really want to do something nice for him on this Christmas. So Wesley, this is from your daughter Thea. She's got you a little Christmas message on the United stand that I hope you appreciate. And Thea did forget your name, but we've got it now. So thank you very much to Thea and Merry Christmas to Wesley. Got a few more as well to read out. Mika says, I don't know who's administrating, but I found it on Instagram. My boyfriend Frederick is the biggest fan of yours. He watches all your videos, and even I, who hasn't been interested in soccer any kind of way, feel I know everything about Manchester United now has been watching this. So big shout out to Frederick from Mika. There we go. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Good tidings of comfort and joy. Thea we've done. We've got Ida Matheson, who just wanted to follow up and say about my partner is a huge fan and watches your videos religiously. Again, I don't know what his name is, Ida, but tell him Merry Christmas. People ask for it and then they don't tell us what the name is. And then Sarah Dunning says, please make my boyfriend's Christmas extra special. The reason Ryan, this is from Sarah Dunning. Merry Christmas, Ryan, from everybody at the United stand. Also wants signed pair of pants. Yeah, we don't do stuff like that. We don't do stuff like that. And also, I just must say, we got this sent through as well. I just very quickly just want to do this because it's a fantastic letter. So this is from Donal O'Callaghan, who's a 12-year-old boy, and at school they basically had to write a letter to somebody that they respect. Now, everyone was doing lots of people he respected, so he just did me. No, he's only joking. I'm a big fan of your channel. I love watching your FIFA career mode. I'm writing 2 days after your amazing charity stream. I'm so glad that you smashed your target and hit 30,000. I love watching your FIFA stuff and your watch-alongs. And although United are going through a rough patch at the moment, I'm still Ollie out, but who knows, by the time you read this, Ollie might be gone to Forest Green Rovers. So he sent this on the 15th of November. I've only just got it now. Well, Donald, Merry Christmas. He's gone. As you would imagine, I have a couple of questions. What made you become a YouTuber? And to be honest, I just started doing videos on football and Manchester United, and it grew from a very small thing. So it was definitely not a career path. What position did you play in as a youngster? CDM, centre back, left back, winger when I was a lot younger. Do I play any other sports? I like table tennis, I like snooker, and Seb's very well. He's very excited about Christmas, as I hope you all are as well. And he says that Ronaldo's my favourite players, Bruno and Wan-Bissaka, for their class, ability and perseverance. There you go. So nice to be able to read some out. There we go. And is there any questions from you lot? Merry Goosemas, says Gaz. Yeah. There's something about me and trips away, pineapples, geese, tripping on bloody hotel balconies. What's Mark getting for Christmas, as Alex? I don't know. I've got absolutely no idea. We have got a show for you in the morning. Somebody just asked about that. So we've got the preview coming up for you this afternoon at 4 o'clock. There's no 8 o'clock show tonight or tomorrow night because it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and I think there should be levels to this game. But we have got 2 videos for you tomorrow. We've got the morning show, which will be going up at about 10. And then we've got a little bit of something special coming up in the afternoon at 4 o'clock tomorrow. And then obviously we've got the preview today that's 4 o'clock. And then Boxing Day we'll be back with a live morning show and 8 o'clock show. So it's basically a day and a half, but we've still got lots of content for you. And sing us a Christmas song, Marky. Oh, it's Christmas time. There's no... No, I don't like that one. I do like that one. It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank, when an old man said to me, this year's for you and me, babe. I can't remember the lyrics. And then we sang a song. Mark, are you having goose or turkey for Christmas as Melps? Well, I should be having goose, but it just makes me think of Top Gun and makes me cry. So I like turkey. It's got a very distinct taste, turkey. I can almost taste the indigestion now. But my plans for the rest of the day, 4 o'clock show, and then out for Christmas Eve dinner at the local pub. A few pints, looking forward to that. So yeah, I hope you're all going to have a fantastic day. You're hanging up your stocking on your wall. But I think that from a footballing sense, let's just hope we get through the next couple of days without Newcastle talking about COVID tests. Because we've had 2 games cancelled already, Liverpool, Leeds, and I think Wolves against somebody. So hopefully we can get through to the game on Monday. Because it's... I don't even know what day... This is. I've already lost track of time for Christmas. So it's Friday today, isn't it? It's Friday today, Saturday tomorrow, which is Christmas Day. There we go. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Have a fantastic Christmas Eve. You will see me later at 4 o'clock, and we have got a morning show for you as well. But I know a lot of you are going to be busy out and about doing stuff, watching films, chilling out, whatever you're up to. Do it carefully, do it safely, and I hope you all have a fantastic couple of days. And make sure you check into United Stand, because we've got lots of stuff for you planned. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Merry Christmas.